All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the September 24th Board of County Commissioner meeting. Would all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. First off, we have our minutes, and I have a question on this. Kim, did we get the corrected?
So I'm working on the corrections from September 10th, and I will present them with all the corrections next week, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. I just, we had that email,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah,
okay,
I am
very good.
working.
All right, then, gentlemen, we have our minutes for our last meeting. Do we have any additions or corrections?
No.
I move to approve the proceedings of the Board of County Commissioners from Montezuma County for Tuesday, September 17th, 2024 as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the proceedings of the Board of Montezuma County Commissioners, Montezuma County, September 17th, 2024. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. We have no planning today, so first thing up we have is public comment. The Board of Montezuma County Commissioners welcomes you to this meeting. Person speaking during the public comment?
Sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. I'll go to a piece of paper. Will be limited to 3 minutes, or depending on the number of people wishing to speak, it may be reduced to allow all the members of the public the opportunity to address the board. When addressing the board, please state your name and address for the record prior to providing your comments. Comments to individual supervisors or staff are not permitted, and participants may not yield their time to others. And with that, the public comment session is open.
Good morning. We're together.
Good morning. Yes, I'm Abdel Barada, 24876 Road, Endpoint 4, Cortez. We're here to talk about Russian olives removal program. So I'm going to read what I wrote last night, and my wife will, I guess, complete what I say here. So the first time we heard about the program was when we read an article in the Cortez Journal. Here's the Cortez Journal, titled Montezuma County Steps Up Eradication of Tamarisk and Russian Olive, published on March 18, 2023. We were excited about it and thought it was a worthwhile program given its implications on soil and water conservation and management in our county. Needless to say, we contacted the weed department literally the next day, since we have a Russian olive problem on our property. We were told by Ms. Anderson to sign up for the cost share program at the NRCS office, which we did. I believe that NRCS was going to provide a share of the money my wife and I would pay the weed department to control Russian olive on our property. My wife signed a contract with the weed department to do just that. She signed it on September 19th, 2023. We have a copy of the contract with us. Before we even signed the contract, a representative from the weed department came to our property in early August 2023 to survey the situation and inform us that a crew from the weed department will start working on our property, on a property across the road from us, and that we will be next. I think he was talking days or weeks, not months or an entire year, before we were informed that the county will not honor the contract my wife signed with them. By the way, when we signed for the program with NRCS in the spring of 2023, we were told that there was only one other property owner who did. We don't understand why Montezuma County will abandon such a great and worthwhile program despite the grants it received for it. Moreover, we're ready to pay the county whatever it billed us, which we're sure will be more than what NRCS will pay us. I also was asked I was also asked by Joe Lee of the NRCS if I would apply the herbicide to the tree stumps myself after the trees were cut, since I am a certified pesticide applicator. My response was a firm and enthusiastic yes. What's more upsetting than a breach of contract by Montezuma County is how late we were informed of the decision to discontinue the program. Between the time, I'm done? That's 3 minutes.
Do I get a minute?
You can both have 3 minutes.
Okay. So go on to what my husband was saying, is I signed the contract back in September of 2023. We were assured by the weed department, the noxious weed department, that they would work on our noxious weeds, which was the Russian olive that we were having problems with. And we were excited about that, as Abdel told you. The problem I have is that we waited and we kept being assured that it would get done. It didn't get done. And then I was informed of September of this year, 2024, that the county would not honor the contract that I signed. Had we known that there was an issue or a problem with this being honored, we would have looked at other options. Meanwhile, these Russian olives have outgrown us. They're all over now because no one came out to help us do it, and we were willing to pay whatever it would cost. So I'm very concerned and disappointed that the county has a contract, yet they can't honor it due to a funding issue, and I understand that, Commissioners. I understand there are funding issues. But when there is not information given in a timely response to the resident who's been asking for this and being assured by the Noxious Weed Management Department that it would get done, and there were a couple others that were on that list as well, and they said, you're on top of the list, we're going to come out. We didn't like the type of responses that we were getting from the county, and then to hear that we were going to be basically without that contract anymore. And if it was me that was on a contract, I honor my contract whenever I sign one. And it seems like the county should do the same, even though there's a funding issue. That shouldn't be information given to Dell and I saying, oh yes, we're going to do your weeds. That's not right. It's very concerning and very disappointing, the kind of service that we've gotten from the county. And that's why we're here today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Good morning, Tim. Long time no see. Anyway, my name is Alan Mays, 21693 County Road 21 in Lewis. There's just so much that needs to be discussed. 3 minutes isn't long enough to cover anything. And so I'm going to request that maybe the Commissioners need to do some more town hall meetings, and not for individual items, but for general items. And I know that the public safety sales tax has really impacted a lot of time being spent out there for the county. And so we need to discuss that. But my issues are, who's running the county? We do have special interest groups out there that want to put their agendas out there, and then the county has to deal with those. The points that the first two commenters made is one of those, and so those are things that we need to talk about a little bit more, some more of the public needs to be aware of what is going on. I spent the weekend listening to individuals who want to represent us in state and federal representation. And those folks, I hope the county board members at least listen to. If they didn't get to over the weekend, those are YouTube, and so there's an opportunity to listen to those folks. They go around in circles because they want to get elected. And so I hope that that's not what is happening here in Montezuma County, that we need to keep these seats for whatever reason. But I think that there are so many things here that we need to have discussed, and coming to the county commissioner meetings, the workshops are where most of the discussion occurs on Monday, and then decisions are made on Tuesday, and sometimes the public doesn't understand what's happening. The City of Cortez Fire District is looking at proposing on the ballot a tax that all residents in the county will have to pay. The county is looking at a tax that all residents will have to pay. There are issues that we need to have discussed of how well is the county doing and who is running the county. City of Cortez and their new gun resolution that they're looking at, that's gonna impact us all. Where is that gonna stop? They're talking about city property, but does that mean when we enter the city, we'll have a place where we deposit our guns as we come into town? Where is this gonna end? Those are concerns, and I hope our county representatives attend the city council meeting tonight and have some input to that, to the city of Cortez on our Second Amendment. That's just gonna go to our First Amendment. All these things have to be discussed, so thank you very much for your time.
Next. All right. With that, we will close the public comment session of this. And I do want to respond just real quickly, briefly here. We had a coffee with the commissioners, an open forum yesterday, spent an hour and a half. It was advertised. And just like town halls, you put out the information, you put yourselves out there, and you don't have anybody show up, or you have only one or two people show up. So we try to get out there all the time, but you have to have the public on the other side willing to want to come and talk to you and get real information. So duly noted, and we do schedule town halls. And again, commissioners with the coffees, if you have something else you'd like to talk about, that's going to be on a monthly basis. All right, with that, we're going to go on into unfinished business. Yesterday, we had a presentation from our road and bridge superintendent. He's asking for a supplemental budget request. This first one is for $520,250, and it's for the unforeseen expenditures on Alkali Creek Bridge. This would go into resolution number 11. And this is basically a transfer of sum of monies to defray the expenses. So anything else that I'm missing on that one? Okay.
I move to approve resolution number 11, 2024, resolution appropriated additional sums of money to defray expenses in excess of amounts budgeted for Montezuma County Road and Bridge Department on expenditures on the Alkali Creek Bridge.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to accept resolution number 11, 2024, resolution appropriating additional sums of money to defray expenses in excess of amounts budgeted for the Montezuma County Road and Bridge Department. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. We also had a second proposal for a supplemental budget request in the amount of $440,000, and this is to basically buy out two motor graders, 772G John Deere's, for the road department, and to take those off a lease and to actually purchase those out. Anything else?
No.
And this would be resolution number 12.
I move to approve resolution number 12, appropriating additional sums of money to defray expenses in excess of amounts budgeted for Montezuma County Road and Bridge Department to buy two motor graders that we have leased at the present time. An
Second.
amount of
Sorry, Gerald.
Go ahead.
It'll increase the capital outlay for the road and bridge from $300,000 to $740,000. It comes out of their own budget money.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept resolution number 12, 2024, a resolution appropriating additional sums of money to defray expenses in excess of amounts budgeted for the Montezuma County Road and Bridge Department. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, the next one was a CDPHE PII. After our discussion that we had yesterday, this just seems like more of a political statement rather than anything that has to do with county business. And at this point in time, if it's okay with you gentlemen, I recommend that we just go beyond this. We don't have to have any actions of signing or not signing, do we?
Well, this was sent to Bobby Locke at the Health Department with a request from the state to sign it. And, Bobby's concern yesterday, which she voiced, was that she didn't feel like she could sign this without authorization from the board. My recommendation would be that if the board is not going to authorize Bobby to sign it, then we need to respond to the state and let them know that it's not Bobby's intention or the county's intention to authorize Bobby to sign this. And so,
That would be just direction given to you then?
yeah, I think that would be fine, and I can certainly respond to the state and just indicate that, that this board did not authorize signature of this document.
Okay.
Is that,
I think then that's, as far as I'm concerned, from the conversation that we had yesterday, it's just another way for us to fight back to the state. So everything that they send us doesn't mean that we have to comply with it. So then the
Well-
guidance, I think that, and I know what this is saying. I think the guidance here is that you respond back, we're not giving Bobby the authority to sign this, and we're not signing it either. Is that a correct statement?
I mean, we
As far as I'm
cannot.
concerned.
We can't give the information out
We can't
anyway.
release that information by law anyway. HIPAA laws
So
are strong.
I think the guidance is get with Bobby, we're not gonna authorize her to sign it, and just let the state know that.
okay.
Okay?
Do we need a motion to that effect, or you just?
Let's just do a motion just to be
Okay.
safe.
I would so move that we do not sign this third-party entity organization certification for access to PII through a database or automated network.
And then I would just add that you're not going to authorize
Right.
Yeah.
Ms. Locke to sign it either.
We will not authorize her to sign it.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to not authorize our director, Bobby Locke, to sign this third-party entity organization certification for access to the PII through a database or automated network. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Then we also had presented yesterday from our director, was a Colorado Department of Early Childhood Health Department nurse family practitioner or partnership grant signature. This is just an additional agreement. Ian, did you see any issues with this one?
Well, we talked about this yesterday, and the option to extend terms for an indefinite number of terms by the state. That was what was originally in the contract. We reached out and we weren't comfortable with that language, and so now we got this language in subsection C that says extension terms, state's option, and it says reserved. We talked about the legal implications of that yesterday. Again, there's some ambiguity there. I think it's always uncomfortable to move forward with an ambiguous contract. That being said, this is a program that has been in existence for quite a while. It's functioned fairly well. It's hard to imagine a situation where the county would want to discontinue this program that's funded by the state. And so, to the extent that we would decide that we wanted to discontinue it at some point, and the state for some reason decided they wanted to continue it on, I think that we would have some leg to stand on. I mean, there's certainly nothing contemplated in this subsection that would mandate the state being allowed to extend. So there is some ambiguity, there's some risk. It's really up to this board as to whether you guys want to move forward. My recommendation, I'm pretty comfortable with it the way it is when you think about the nature of the program and how it's funded and how it runs and what it provides to the community. But I think you do need to be aware that there is some ambiguity there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I move to approve the State of Colorado intergovernmental agreement contract number CTQAAA 2025-1080, Public Health Department, Early Childhood Development.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to sign the agreement with the Colorado Department of Early Childhood and the Montezuma County Public Health Department for the fiscal year of 2025. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, the fairgrounds bids, we're gonna go by because we have some research that still has to be taken care of before we even go further with that. And the next, we did have a couple of presentations from our natural resource director for letters of support. And Commissioner, I think I left them all with you yesterday. Oh, there they are. We can, which one do you have on top?
Wildfire Ready Watershed Grant.
Okay,
Yeah,
so the
that
first one we'll start with is Colorado Water Conservation Board, CWCB, Wildfire Ready Watershed Grant Program. This is, these are just letter of supports. They do not tie us to anything financially. And these are for planning grants, most of them. There is one that is not, for Wildfire Ready Watershed Grant Program. Did I miss anything?
No.
You okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
I move to approve this letter of support for to the Colorado Water Conservation Board Wildfire Ready Watersheds Grant Program for the Mancos Conservation District.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to sign this letter of support to the Mancos Conservation District for the CWCB Wildfire Ready Watershed Grant Program. All those in favor, or is there any further discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, next we had the Upper Basin Environmental Drought Mitigation. Letter of support. And again, these are all planning grants that they're trying to look at for the different agencies.
I move to sign this letter of support to the Bureau of Reclamation for the Southwest Water Conservation District's Upper Basin Environmental Drought Mitigation application.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to sign this letter of support in regard to the Upper Basin Environmental Drought Mitigation to the Bureau of Reclamation. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next was the CWCB Wildfire Ready Watershed Grant Program.
This is a different one.
This one is for post-modeling for fire, water resources, and risk to the communities. A lot of these, I think, the way James explained them yesterday was for, we have culverts that could plug due to rapid runoff after a wildfire, post-fire, anything that could affect our roadways in some of these areas. So I know that on one of these, he had a County Road L culvert that's being looked at and observed. I'm not sure if this has that in it. But this is a post grant, the way I understood it, or post-fire risk.
I move to approve this CWCB Wildfire Ready Watersheds Grant Program application for the Mancos Conservation District. And it's basically to organize GIS and spatial data and conduct post-fire modeling to water resources.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to sign a letter of support for the Mancos Conservation District for the CWCB Wildfire Ready Watershed Grant Program. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. One more.
Yep.
Which is the Dolores, a different watershed, the Dolores Watershed Collaborative Wildfire Ready Action Plan.
I move to approve this letter of support for the Dolores Watershed Collaborative application to the Colorado Water Conservation Board to fund the development of a wildfire-ready action plan for the Upper Dolores watershed.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to sign this letter of support for the Dolores Watershed Collaborative Wildfire Ready Action Plan. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. That's all we have under unfinished business. Moving to new business, we have a couple liquor license applications that we need to look at. Ms. Frizzell?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I have a liquor license renewal for Maverick Store number 275, located at 10223 Highway US 491 in Cortez. I have the letter from the sheriff showing that they have found no liquor violations for the manager or for the business of Maverick.
I would so move we accept the retail liquor license renewal application from Maverick Inc. for store number 275 located at 10223 Highway 491 Cortez.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept this liquor license application renewal for Maverick Inc. located at 10223 US Highway 491 Cortez. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Pardon me.
And go ahead, Jerry, we have the next one.
So the next one is a liquor license renewal for Booze Stop, and it is located at 18794 Highway 491 in Lewis, Colorado. I also have the letter from the sheriff saying found no liquor violations for the manager or for the business.
I would so move we accept the retail liquor license renewal application from Boo Stop LLC located at 18794 Highway 491, Lewis, Colorado.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to accept the retail liquor license renewal application for Blue Stop LLC located at 18794 Highway 491, Lewis, Colorado. Any discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Anything else, Jerry?
Nope, that's it for me.
All right. Ian?
Yeah, I don't have a lot to update this week. The biggest thing I do have to update, I've been working with CDPHE on our Ironwood case. I went ahead and drafted a couple different motions to reduce the accrued fines to judgment, as you guys instructed me to do. At this point, through the beginning of September, Ironwood owes CDPHE and the state $2.1 million in fines that have yet to be reduced to judgment. Half of that is $1,050,000, and so that would be our cut. I did send that motion over to CDPHE a little bit over a week ago, 2 weeks ago actually. They have reviewed it, and they are waiting for authorization for their legal counsel to move forward with the filing of that motion. We do have a meeting with Ironwood's attorney tomorrow, just to confer on the motion and discuss. I guess what I need from you guys at this point is just some direction. My assumption is that CDPHE is going to go ahead and go with us and authorize the signing of this motion. It has taken a little bit longer on their end than I would like, but it doesn't affect the fines at all. I guess what I need, though, is just some direction in the event that CDPHE does not want to move forward at this point with reducing their entire amount of the fines owed to judgment. We certainly can still do that, and I would advise that we do. I think it's important that by the end of this week we get that motion filed, whether the state's with us or not. I mean, ultimately, it's always great to be in lockstep with the co-plaintiff, and we really have been. But at the same point in time, we've got these fines that have been accrued, and I think it's important that the county reduce them at this point in time, regardless of whether CDPHE decides to reduce their fines to judgment.
So I think from the beginning, we have made it very clear that we need to get this site cleaned up because of the risk that it produces or presents to the county. And I think since day one, from all of us, that we have said we're going to go the entire way with or without CDPHE.
Yep.
So get it, take care of it, whatever you have to do with or without CDPHE.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think, they've been a great partner, and I think it's really been wonderful to work with them and work in lockstep, and I think we'll continue to do so regardless of whether we can come to an understanding on the reduction of the fines to judgment. But ultimately, what it comes down to is Ironwood owes both the state and the county money, and reducing fines to judgment is simply a way to collect those fines. And so how the state chooses to collect their fines is somewhat outside the purview of the nuts and bolts of the case. And I think at this point for us, we need to move forward and collect those fines. And again, the next step is reducing those owed fines to judgment. So just so I'm understanding correct, we'll have our conference tomorrow, and then I'll get that motion filed by the end of the week, either with CDPHE or without.
Pretty sure that's the direction of this
You
board.
bet.
Continue to move.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. All right, Travis.
Not a lot to report, just a busy week working on some IGAs, MOUs between the city and county and other entities. I'll be meeting with Mr. Thine, the CEO of the hospital, on a couple of projects that they're potentially wanting to partner with the county on. So I'll be discussing those issues with him. Fair board advertisements are out, so anybody that's interested in sitting on the fair board, please present your letter of interest. We attended the dispatch accountability meeting last week. Commissioner, I'll let you expand on that if you want. We have a board list I'm working on for our county attorney so he can provide some training. I think I'm about 3/4 of the way through getting contact information, so I'll get that to you. And then yesterday we had coffee with the commissioners. I think it went fairly well. I mean, not a lot of attendance, but hopefully it'll grow, so.
Commissioner
Yes,
Lindsey.
like Travis alluded to, we had a meeting with dispatch last Thursday, and they've got some equipment needs that they're going to approach the E911 board with, and we kind of went over that with them. Also, like Travis said, again, we'll hear this throughout the day, I'm sure, but we did have coffee yesterday with constituents over at the annex, and it was an interesting crowd, let's put it that way. It wasn't very big, but it was interesting. And also I have Region 9 coming up on Thursday in Durango. And I did sit through a CCI virtual meeting last Friday, and a number of things were discussed until my internet went down. So I made it to about 11:30, and that was about the end of the internet. But a lot of bills that they're talking about proposing, a loophole in the URA and TIF designations. Wanted to know about a paper bag tax exemption and give counties the option to opt out. And my question is where's this money going and who's collecting it? Because I don't think it's being reported where all this money's going. Also, Dolores County proposing that they're looking at reducing their salaries out there due to budget cuts, property tax decreases. They're struggling out there. I supported the proposition for minimum sentences for child prostitution, and also modified the minimum sentences for that, and it will be proposed. Let's see, what else? Responsibility of employers in civil judgments for civil rights violation. It was pretty much undecided which way that the CCI would go. There was a proposal about courthouse funding. Kelly was on there, and I'm sure she grabbed the HHS stuff. And there was a proposal to increase restaurant inspection fees. I voted to oppose that. And then also water sampling. Some county was having trouble with CDPHE, was using old samples and not taking current quality samples of water and for testing. So that's as far as I got with that. What else? I've got city council tonight. That's about the size of it
All right,
so
very
far.
good. Commissioner Copenafer.
Yeah, I don't have much to report. We had basically our audit for Southwest Water Conservation District yesterday. Went through a meeting for that. Not a whole lot else. I missed the coffee with commissioners this week, so not a whole lot else to report.
All right. Wednesday of last week, we did start off with all three commissioners and a department head elected official meeting. Basically, we do that quarterly just to go over everything in the county and what's going on and what's happening. Thank you, Commissioner Lindsay, for attending that Zoom meeting for me because I was unable to get to that one. We did have our coffee with the county yesterday. Again, this is just more public outreach that we are trying to do. This was an open forum, very casual, hour and a half of conversations, whatever you want to talk about. And it is a dialogue at that point in time. Something else that I want to bring to just the attention of the public, unless a contract has been signed by the board, it's not valid. Contracts are not valid unless they're signed by the board. So just to bring that to the attention of the public. We did have our workshop yesterday, which we took care of pretty much everything today. I did go to the Dolores meeting last night. And a question that they asked me was that apparently social media or media in general is stating that the senior services are being discontinued. That's absolutely not true. The senior services are being continued. There is an issue in Dolores that they're looking for a cook. The position is advertised, and as soon as we can get a cook on board, that will continue in its entirety. So nothing has changed other than people come, people go, and that's just something that we have to deal with on a daily basis as that arrives. So just to reiterate to everybody that the services are not stopped and it's not being discontinued. They had a few other resolutions that pertain nothing but to ordinances in their town. And one of them specifically was for moving all of their events, like Escalante Days, from Flanders Park over to Joe Rall. They did that this year because the building was being torn down. It sounded like they had some issues, so I'm not really sure what decisions they'll be moving with in the future. And that is all that I have. And gentlemen, that is all we have on our agenda.
Kim, do you have anything? I mean, we've got a ballot coming out here pretty soon.
So, yeah, you should have received your Tabor notices from the state. They were mailed. We will be sending out a Tabor notice from the county with the county questions. That should be coming out soon. Ballots go out, I believe it's October 14th. If you haven't registered to vote, you need to come in and register to vote. Make sure that we get the ballot sent to the place where you want it to go. So, but other than that, military ballots were sent out last weekend. So we're just trying to keep going.
Thank you.
All right. Very good.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn this Board of County Commissioners meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. We will be reconvening as the Board of Health this afternoon at 1:30.